also myths. There's plenty of those out there, not just as it pertains to cash, but buying that home in general. The American dream. In fact, we've had presidential candidates, if not presidents themselves, standing before the nation saying, "Hey, you're right," or "You're, we want to ensure your ability," whatever you want to call it, to have the American dream come true of home ownership. I mean, we've really hammered in on this. We've really made this ingrained in the psyche of the American people that you need to be a homeowner as part of the overall package of living in this great country. Let's talk about some of those myths, Mark.
All right, number one is owning is better than renting. No, not the case. Depending on your specific situation, your lifestyle, your goals, your position in life, each person has a different set of circumstances, and if it makes sense for you to own, you've done the math. It's a long-term investment in most, if not all, scenarios. Great, become a homeowner. But do not fall for that pitch from the media, from realtors, etc. And I think much more the message today is maybe it does make more sense to rent. So just be educated. It's a great long-term investment. Can be a great long-term investment, but don't fall for it thinking that now you're of age, you've got a good job, and you've saved some money for a down payment. You need to purchase just so you can say that you're a homeowner. Renting gives freedom. It gives sometimes more financial freedom and lifestyle freedom that you cannot otherwise afford or participate in if you're a homeowner. Anything else on that, Craig?
Well,
all right. On the myth?
We got to say, just because as far as buying a home is a great investment piece of it, I mean, we want to share with you the fact that over the last 10 years, we've seen a 0.3% overall net annual.
So that's the other myth number two is buying a home is a great investment.
Right.
Not necessarily. It can be a good long-term investment, but if you're a Life as You Own It show listener, you'll know the many things that can enhance that investment. Understanding the financial implications as it relates to the tax efficiency, doing the math on the financing side. You don't pay a bunch of fees so that your ultimate borrowing cost is significantly greater than it could or should be if you're only going to own the house 3, 4, 5 years or finance the house for 3, 4, 5 years. So there's so much more there. But Craig, great point. Over the last 10 years, average of 0.3.
And then about 8.25 overall return, annual return on the S&P 500. So even after you factor in that's taxable income,
right,
and you take anywhere from 15 to 25% of that away for taxes, depending on how you have, whether it's short or long-term gain, you're still way, way, way ahead on your other investments, which goes back to what we talked about in the prior segment with the whole arbitrage thing. I mean, if you're borrowing money at 2.98 and you're going to somehow return 6, 7, 8% on it, you're actually making money to have that mortgage as opposed to having that house paid off, which is still subject to fluctuations in the market, still potentially going to lose money.
All right. Another myth for consideration, Craig, is that location is everything. Location, location, location. All right, Craig, why might that be a myth?
Well, it's a myth because there's so many other factors that go into that. I mean, it used to be that you want to find a home, you got to find that perfect home in that nice, well-established community that's got low crime, great schools, close to airports, close to shopping, and all that kind of stuff. But there really needs to be a look at you got to look a little bit further down the road. You got to look into the future a little bit about the area that you're moving into when you're thinking about this. It's not about the here and now and location. Sometimes
right.
It's about what's forthcoming in this potential community or up and coming community and things like that.
So the value of location is not a myth, it is a reality. However, there's a caveat that says if it's hot today, will it be hot tomorrow? Is there potential in this neighborhood, or is there something coming into this neighborhood, whether a school is going to be shut down, whether they're getting ready to bring in a rail system right next to your house, those things that presently hot location might cool down significantly. Also, the concept, and we talk about this a lot, buying the worst home in a nice neighborhood. Sure, can be a sound strategic investment if you have the ability to put the money into the home, fix up the home, and make it comparable with your neighbors. However, if you're just thinking that because you bought the worst junky clunker home in that neighborhood, it's suddenly going to be worth more money because it's in a great neighborhood, you're incorrect. On the flip side of that is if you're buying in a fixer-upper neighborhood, a neighborhood you think is going to be hot, well, you can't buy all the houses. So you may get one at a great deal. But unless you're going to purchase and fix up the other house in the neighborhood, that neighborhood might never get the value that you believe is necessary to recoup your investment.
And this is one that requires a whole lot of math, folks. You've got to do enough research and planning and looking at the overall expenditure and add it all up. You can't just go in thinking, oh, I can, this house, all the houses down the street recently sold for $250,000. I can pick this one up for $125, and I can put 80 in it. So I'll be, this much ahead, whatever, $45,000 ahead. Guess what? There's unexpected expenses, and you just don't know without doing a whole lot of planning and consult with experts. So make sure you've done a lot of math before you pull that trigger.